Yo, hello! So, bear with me here, whether you're a basketball fan or not, the NBA Finals were recently, and there's this one player that played in the NBA Finals, Miles Turner, and Miles Turner is a massive Lego fan just like you, and Miles Turner owns a 7-foot tall statue of him as Darth Vader. Now that's cool, and I was thinking I want to do something like that, but I don't got the time, money, or resources to build a 7-foot tall statue of myself, but brickheads. Brickheads are small, easy, simple to design, so that's where we begin. So we're on Bricklink Studios here, but we got a problem. I don't own a brickhead, nor have I ever built a brickhead. So I don't even know where to begin. I did a quick Google search on YouTube. I found this video by Bellevue Bricks of a quick brickheads template tutorial. So I got this template here, and now it's time to begin designing. So I took this reference image of myself wearing probably my most iconic outfit, so at least the brickhead is recognizable when you look at it. So I think I'm going to start off easy and work my way bottom to the top. So obviously my pants are black, so I could change these 1x2s and this 4x4 plate to black, and then the shoes are white. And since the shoes are a more defining feature of my outfit, I want to make them stand out a bit more. So I'm grabbing these 1x1 modified rounded tiles here, put them at the end of these 1x2s so the shoes stand out. I somehow want to include the shirt that's peeking out underneath a hoodie, so I'm just going to cheat a bit. I'm going to move all this up one, and then add another 1x4 plate on top of this, change that to white, so at least I have somewhat of a shirt included in the build. Now it's time for the torso, and for the torso I am wearing an orangish hoodie, and I want to just make it out of straight tiles. I want to add detail, so I'm thinking pockets, sleeves, maybe the lettering across the middle, add a hood at the back. I'm just gonna mess around, see what I come up with, and come back to you when I figure things out. Okay, so I got the pockets, I rounded the shoulders a bit, and then for the back, I left all these studs here so I could just build up a hood. For the front here, if you notice, I left a big open space here. And I was looking at reference images for brickheads, and I found this Ahsoka brickhead. And if you look in the middle of the Ahsoka brickhead, you could notice that there's a bunch of plates and tiles stacked up vertically in the middle to allow for more detail. So I'm going to try using that idea here, even though it's just a plain orange hoodie, there's not much detail I can include. Maybe the lettering, but I don't really see a realistic way I can make noticeable lettering. So I'm thinking maybe just hoodie strings, something along those lines. I got this clip here, I could just rotate it, put it in the middle, and I could actually stack plates and tiles on the side to add more detail. Okay, so I added these hoodie strings here. I think they actually look pretty good, even though they're super simple. And for the hood, I want to make it as natural as possible. There's only so many rounded pieces, so I still want to keep the curvature of the hood, but I want to make it look not symmetrical. Okay, so I think I did a decent job on the hood here. Try to make it as natural as possible while keeping the rounded shape. There's only so many rounded pieces. There's a little bit of divot here, so I think it's pretty noticeable that it's somewhat of a hood, especially with the front here. Now it's time to get to the head, which I think is the hardest part because of the hair. The hair has a bit of a flow to it that I don't know if I could quite get with Lego pieces. The problem is, if I just use these cheese slopes here, which are probably the best piece to use for the hair, it's just going to flow straight down at a 45-degree angle. I don't want that. So I'm just going to mess around with a bit. Face is easy. I could do the back of the hair pretty easy, and I'm just going to stop when I figure out a way to get that flow. Okay, so I took a jab at the hair here, and I got the back. The back doesn't really have much of a flow, but that's alright, it's realistic. And then this piece here is supposed to resemble an AirPod, which I think is somehow perfect, because I do tend to wear AirPods all the time. Now I left the space out here because I have an idea how to make the flow. So I put this clip here, and I'm going to have this 1x2 modified plate right inside that gap there. And the thing about this is you could hinge it up and down over top of the AirPods, which is realistic. But not only that, but to get the flow, you just take a cheese slope here, put it on top, and then already you got that flow down and then back up, and that's what I'm looking for. And then I left this one stud gap across the top of the entire head, and that's for the base of the hat. But I'll finish the hair first and then I'll get to the hat. Alright, so I finished the hair and I got started on the hat here. Obviously, these rounded plates perfect for the hat, but I use these 1x4 modded plates instead of a regular plate because the Pelican's logo in the middle of the hat here has to be centered with the hat, and if you see, there's an even amount of studs to work with, so I have to make it an odd amount of studs. So what I was thinking is if I take a jumper plate here, I don't know where it's going to be, but say it's roughly there, and I build the logo up off of this, what's going to happen is if I build up the side of the hat here, say I put a brick here, there's going to be this gap, and this gap is pretty ugly, so I gotta fill in that gap somehow. And my plan to fill in that gap was to grab a 1x1 modded brick here, put it on its side, and use a 1x2 tile on the side of this brick here to fill in this gap as much as possible. Now if I was using a regular 1x4 plate, there would be a stud in the way. I couldn't slide that tile all the way down to cover as much as possible. So I think this is the best course of action to make the logo, which I think is just going to end up being a bunch of colored plates instead of an actual proper logo, because I don't really see a realistic way of doing that. And then for the hat, it's going to be big and chunky. The head is already massive, I got to make the hat proportional. So I think that's all I have to do is just build the hat and then I'm ready to build. And there it is, I think I'm done here. Now the good thing about Bricklink Studios is that it's connected to the Bricklink website, and the Bricklink website is how you order pieces. So all you have to do, go to the top right, add to wishlist, go onto your account on Bricklink, go to your wishlist, press buy all, use the feature that Bricklink gives you to give you the best combination of fewest stores and cheapest pieces possible. Here are the stores I ordered from, I had no problems with them. If you want, go support them, go give their catalog a view. I just ordered all the pieces, and now we wait. All the pieces have arrived, and I've pre-made this little stand here to put my brick head on because I think the 4x4 plate is a little too boring. Now it's time to get building. A 208 piece brickhead of myself. I think it turned out pretty good for one of my first MOCs. And here's a final rundown of what I've done. We got the shoes, black pants, white shirt underneath the hoodie. We got some pockets, hoodie strings, some nice shoulders going on here. We got our hood out the back, and going up to the face, we got that simple brick head face with our AirPods on either side. We got the hair with a nice flow. I'm really happy with this. You could actually move the hair up and down like I'm in the wind. All the way around, nice flow to the back, and then now the hat a big chunky hat, but the shaping, I am impressed about. The logo, I wish I could do better, but there's nothing else I could do other than stacking plates. But other than that, I think this is a success.